Welcome to the VC3 News Update. I am Shanette Hackshaw with the top local news stories for today. Minister of Education Curtis King told civil servants yesterday that the civil service is the executing arm of the government. The minister was delivering brief impromptu remarks at the church service held at the New Testament Church of God, Wilson Hill, to mark the commencement of a week of activities to recognize civil servants. Minister King said the success of the government in transforming lives and getting its policies in place to provide the environment to allow the nation to make progress depends significantly on the work that is done by civil servants. He said it is absolutely necessary that civil servants are in an environment that will facilitate that work.
The government has initiated a number of policies to try to ensure that you have that sort of environment. But you also have an important role to play, because as I put it to the young people, we can provide you with a playing field. But if you don't go and utilize the playing field, then that playing field, for all intent and purpose, will be useless.
Like his colleague, Minister of Public Service, Frederick Stevenson, Minister King also thanked civil servants for the wonderful work done over the years and added that while there is room for improvement, he believes that with the commitment of the senior public servants and others as well as the government, that improvements can be achieved if all parties work together.
So days like these are supposed to be one to inspire and to encourage you. And it is within your own powers to ensure that your colleague feel very much a part of this day. Because this is the commencement of a week when your efforts will be acknowledged, when greater recognition would be provided for you. And therefore, we want as many as possibly can to share in this very important experience.
The Education Minister encouraged civil servants to use the opportunity to recommit themselves to the important work that is there to be done. The week of activities continue with a ministerial internship program. On Thursday will be the widely anticipated public speaking competition, and the activities end on Friday the 23rd with a wellness and appreciation fair to be held at the old Treasury site between the ministerial building and the registry. Community Liaison Officer with the Port Implementation Unit, Marlon Stevenson, in speaking with VC3 News, said that more than 50 vendors on the seafront in the area were compensated as part of the phases of construction of the new port at Rose Place. Residents of Rose Place also had to be relocated to Lomans Hill, which he said was challenging, but strong efforts were made to put people in a better place.
Since then, we have had a monitoring mechanism in place from the bank, requiring that is a prerequisite for the loan, and a consultant is in place who comes. Well, she came here, started a preliminary report to go and visit those persons to see what has been taking place, how settled they are, and a final report will be out pretty soon. So we are seeing ongoing mechanisms in place to make sure that we monitor what happened to those persons. So we don't just move them and leave them, abandon them. We have to make sure that we monitor what's happening with them.
Mr. Stevenson said based on information received, those relocated are more comfortable in their new community.
Plumbing, electricity, good. There's a property, there's boundary demarcation, you know what is yours. People planting food, peas, okra. Persons have called me and share peas and stuff with me. We have given, even to the people who did the construction, the folks from the Housing Development Corporation, the residents who sent thing as a show of gratitude. And I was very happy to facilitate, and it was really warming to see persons giving back because I felt so comfortable, in the environment.
He did, however, admit that there have been some challenges, but quickly added that the state mechanism rose to the task. He said there was a 3-month training process done by the Social Welfare Department that was held recently, where a number of issues pertaining to being part of a community were addressed.
Persons were given some monetary assistance for a 3-month period because part of the mechanism pointed out that there was some hardship having to move from Kingston to that area, that there was a period of hardship. So they were given a bank card, and on that card they were given I don't know how much is the amount, but they get a monthly stipend which will last for a period of time. I don't know how long is the period of time either. I didn't bother to, So good things are happening for the residents.
1.17 million cubic meters of sand has so far dragged to fill 16 acres of reclaimed land at the port project site in Kingstown. The port modernization project is the second largest capital project in this country's history. It is being done at a cost of $620 million. The project forms part of the government's urban development project, which includes the rehabilitation of Little Tokyo. And finally, in our local news stories, the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, is advising all residents to closely monitor the approach of Tropical Storm Brett. According to Weather Information Statement 1 received from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Met Services today, the Tropical Depression 3 has been upgraded to Tropical Storm Brett. Brett is forecast to strengthen and move across the Lesser Antilles as a hurricane later this week, bringing a risk of flooding from heavy rainfall, hurricane-force winds, and dangerous storm surges and waves. Due to a larger than usual uncertainty in the model guidance on the track forecast, it is too early to specify the location of the center of the system and magnitude of the associated hazards. The National Emergency Management Organization is therefore urging all residents, especially persons living on the north of the island, in areas north of the Robeco River, to be extra vigilant, even though there is some level of uncertainty. Although there are no watches or warnings in effect for St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this time. However, residents are strongly advised to be prepared as we are in the hurricane season, and regardless of the forecast, there is a possibility for rains, gusty winds, and rough seas. The National Emergency Management Organization will continue to provide updates from St. Vincent and the Grenadines Met Services. Those are our local news stories. Continue watching the VC3 News Update on Channel 114 for regional and international news.